at that point, the guy there decided that this wasn't a show for him. He didn't really believe in quiz shows, thought that they'd had their day and wasn't interested. And basically, there was very few other places the show could be taken. It wasn't suitable for the BBC because it wasn't in their ethos to be giving away prizes of £1 million because it's a public broadcaster. So that was a no-go. Channel 5 were sort of vaguely interested for a while, but it was realised that as the revenue was going to be generated by phone calls for people ringing up to enter the show, they wouldn't generate enough calls and therefore enough revenue to enable us to give away a £1 million prize. So 2 years elapsed, during which time everybody kept working on the show because Paul had such a strong belief that this show was going to work. Somehow it would get on air. He didn't give up. And 2 years later, David Lidderman came to ITV, and Paul Smith went back to ITV and pitched the show again to David Lidderman. And David liked the show, but he did say one thing. He said, what happens if the revenue, you don't raise enough revenue, so therefore not enough phone calls are made, that we're short in the prize fund? So Paul said, well, if there is a shortfall in the prize fund, we'll take the hit, meaning Celador Productions would take the hit. And had that happened, probably Celador would have gone under, because it could have been a massive hit. But that was the risk and that was the belief that he had in the show. So David Lidderman said, OK, let's do it. And not only that, he said, not only will we do a show on a weekly basis, which was the thought at the time, but he said, let's strip it. Let's do 10 days in a row. So that's what happened. The show was then prepared and it was decided there would be a pilot 1 week before the series started. So the pilot was made, and I'm going to just show you now a little clip, a short clip of the very first pilot that was made of Millionaire. And you'll see then there was a lot of work to be done between that pilot and what happened 7 days later. So could you play the first clip?
Last night, Andy was fastest on the button and first to play. A little too confidently. It's the wrong answer. Time then to pick a new player. And just before the end of the show, Peter answered question 8. You've won £8,000. Will he carry on? How far will he go? Find out tonight on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Awfully nice audience. And an awfully nice contestant. Hello and welcome once again to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the show that's more generous than Pavarotti's pyjamas, and that's generous. Now, as you just saw at the top of the show this time yesterday, I gave away...
So there you are. That was just a bit from the first pilot. Everybody came off that thinking, this is not exactly what we thought it was going to be. Where was that famous lighting? Where was that music? And all that happened in 1 week. So from that point, it was decided that the lighting had to be changed, the music had to be changed, lots of things had to be changed. In a week, the show went on air, and went on air in a way that we now know it, and was an instant hit. But at that point, still, we thought it was going to be a big hit in the UK, but nobody ever dreamt that it was going to be the hit all around the world that it was. And of course, at its peak, it was playing in 106 territories. I mean, I couldn't name 50 territories. Well, maybe I could, or maybe I couldn't, but I certainly couldn't name 106 territories. So here's just a little snatch of some of the shows from around the world. Can you play the next clip?
A, anarchie.
Anarchie is jouw antwoord A. Het is het goede antwoord op de uitgevraagd.
List disse popgrupper efter hvornår de blev opløst.
Ne suivez pas votre intuition.